is this, honey?
Is Marinette a Mary Sue? The short answer is yes. The long answer is so what is a Mary Sue? According to dictionary.com, Mary Sue is a term used to describe a fictional character, usually female, who is seen as too perfect and almost boring for lack of flaws. Originally written as an idealized version of an author in fanfiction. In this case, the Mary Sue in question is an idealized version of the author's imaginary character. To determine whether Marinette is a Mary Sue, and whether that's so wrong, first we need to examine the things that make her who she is. Marinette is a natural-born leader who is beautiful, kind, and extremely talented in design, gaming, and superheroing, all while being super humble and claiming to be an average girl. I mean, her parents owned the best bakery in Paris. Audrey Bourgeois complimented her design. She got to design stuff with jagged stone. She babysits a famous reporter's daughter. Nothing out of the ordinary here. I forgot to mention that she's friends with everyone in the class, and the amount of people she pulls is astronomical. I mean, these Luka, Nathaniel, Nino, Zoe, and this is just counting the ones that love her as Marinette. She's clumsy, awkward, physically abusive to Cat Noir, a control freak, a hypocrite, an obsessive stalker, and there's probably more that I can't remember right now. Best part about all this is although she makes quite a few mistakes, no one ever calls her out on her BS. And anyone who tries to is automatically demonized by the plot. This is a side note. I don't know if you guys remember, but there's a scene in season 2, I think, where Marinette tells her friends about how she has memorized Adrian's schedule, and Alex says that's kind of weird or something along those lines. Maybe I hallucinated it, but if I didn't, this is one of the reasons season 2 holds a special place in my heart. Feminism is not misandrism. I think this is something Thomas needs to hear. Feminists want equality, or is it equity? While misandrists want the roles to be reversed. Anyway, this guy believes that by making Cat Noir stupid, weak, and useless, he is in fact a feminist icon because, it's impossible for women to be better than men unless the men are absolute morons. The idiocracy is going to give me high blood pressure. If he really wanted to make Marinette into a strong female lead, maybe he should have started by taking notes from those who have done it right. And then I suggest giving them different skills, strengths, and weaknesses. Like equally. Not that one has like 2 intentional flaws and the other has 60 depending on the day. Marinette could have a more feminine strength like Mulan and Cinderella, strength that comes from creativity and kindness. She could still be the leader because she's more level-headed and a lot less playful than Cat Noir. Although I can acknowledge that as someone who isn't super romantic, I'm not the best person to talk about this. I know that none of Marinette's behavior towards her obsession, Adrian, is normal. No normal person who has a crush on someone is going to stalk them, break into their house, lie in their bed, do whatever this is, be so jealous when he talks to other girls that she makes the dumbest decisions. The worst part about this is she never faces any consequences for this psychotic behavior, and we instead get yes men telling her how much they are meant for each other because she's a little creep. The fact that Thomas endorses and tries to justify this makes me feel like he should be on a watch list. Her crush was cute in season 1 and 2, then she just turned into a female reincarnate of Joe from You. If I were Adrian, I would get a restraining order. Honestly, I think obsessive tendencies could be linked to lack of self-love, and I think this could be a good path for Marinette. As she slowly learns to love herself, she becomes less of a creep and even apologizes to Adrian for the creepy things she has done. Though Homeboy is always in a different world, so I don't think he even noticed. But the writers, Thomas, want to pretend she is perfect, and that stalking your crush is totally normal. So that's that, I guess. But Siri, how about her trauma? The only reason Marinette is the way she is because Chloe's cruel praying. Let's talk about that, shall we? A last minute backstory. First of all, it's very obvious the creators just pulled this out there because quite a few things don't make sense with this context, and I'm going to list them. In the episode Mr. Pigeon 72, Marinette goes to the pool to try and get Adrian and Kagami to get back together, and she seems fine. Creepy, but fine. She doesn't act like someone who was traumatized, that she was driven to the point of madness in the form of unhealthy obsessions. In the episode Dark Cupid, she helps Kim ask Chloe out. If this guy traumatized her so much, why would she want to help him? I guess some people will say she's just that kind, but I still think it doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure Kim says he's scared of spiders, so how could he prank someone else with that? Or does he forget that he's scared of spiders? Till that point, we've seen that Chloe mostly specializes in stupid pranks and snide remarks. She's a high school bully, not a Korean high school bully. What she does with those spiders could be classified as attempted murder, and I don't think it's really believable that she would do that, considering she has shown no hints prior to this of pulling life threatening pranks on people. Correct me if I'm wrong, haven't there been times when Marinette has stood up to Chloe? Wouldn't she be too scared if Chloe had genuinely tormented her that much before? Some would say it's because she gains confidence from being Ladybug, but I think it's just lazy writing. And what about Luka? She liked him, and we never once saw her act like a psycho when she liked him. She was a normal teenage girl with a crush. If she vowed to always know everything about her crushes, why don't we see her sneak into his room, steal his guitar or something, sniff his pillows? We never see her do any of that stuff. This gives me two likely explanations. She never seriously liked Luka, although the blushing says otherwise, or this entire backstory is BS. It's a simple case of twisting the narrative and forcing issues to make the main character look better. Her role as Ladybug is a big part of why I think she's a Mary Sue. They basically made this girl extremely overpowered. I have no issues with overpowered characters. In fact, some of my favorite characters are overpowered. But I think it's not always the best idea to make the main character overpowered. I think you can cheapen the story because it makes things too easy for them. However, it doesn't necessarily make them a Mary Sue if you write it well, which in this case was not done. So here's a list of her powers. She can create anything. She can restore life, kinda. She has enhanced strength and speed. She can create magical Akuma protection charms. She's the smartest in the team. She's the only one who's able to hold multiple Miraculouses at once with ease. And then, on top of that, everybody and their mom loves and praises her, and continuously insists that she's amazing and one of a kind. So her added responsibility of being a guardian is what leads us to finally see Marinette struggle. But what I don't like is how this basically gives her even more power. Now she gets to control who can get a miraculous and who can't. I would have liked it if they treated it less like she was made for this and more like a burden that was wrongfully thrust on her and is now slowly destroying her. I think the reason they don't fully take their writing in that direction is because they're determined to defend Master Fu at every turn and gaslight us into thinking he was a good mentor and guardian when they show us things that tell us otherwise. I have a lot of issues with the writing of Master Fu, but that's a topic for another day. Regardless of what issues she faces as a guardian, even the ones of her own doing, I don't think she ever gets consequences that seem just as big as the mistake. They're treating her like an egg. If I was to describe this relationship in 3 words, I would describe it as gone too soon. Although Marinette never deserved Luka in the first place. I don't want to talk about this that much because I'm saving my thoughts for the Luka and Kagami video, but Marinette has disrespected Luka so many times. I remember watching a certain episode when I was a kid and being so mad when Jagged Storm was asking her to recommend a guitar player and she insists that Adrian should do it. If she knows everything about him due to her trauma, shouldn't she know that he only plays piano? And even if she didn't like Luka romantically, they were at the very least friends. And I think it's a pretty messed up message sent to kids that you can screw over your friends for a crush because your crush matters more or something. Luca needed that opportunity more than Adrian ever would, and he actually played the guitar, so it just makes Marinette look like a douchebag for that. Writers should have given us more time to see them as a couple instead of telling us they just don't work. Some of the biggest rules of writing: show, don't tell, and one episode isn't enough to fully show us that. If they had shown us the issues in their relationship for at least half the season, I would find the argument that Marinette and Adrian belong together a lot more believable because so far I've just seen both of them have unhealthy obsessions with their crush, which is probably not good for a relationship. Marinette has a lot of flaws, but there's nothing wrong with that. Problem starts when she barely ever faces any consequences or fails. She could just be a mentally ill character with obsessive tendencies, but don't praise her tendencies, obviously. Have her friends call her out and have her face actual consequences that are directly caused by her stalking and obsessive behavior. I think Filipino is one of the best examples of what could have been done. Marinette's jealousy leads to an acclimatization, and the writers let her acknowledge that it was her fault and apologize. And we get to see that not everyone is going to forgive her, and her actions have made her an enemy. I miss season 2, you guys. Where did those writers go? Her possessiveness over Adrian suggests that the love she has for him is very surface level and quite unhealthy. I think it would make more sense to have him remind her of someone she used to love when she was a bit younger, who moved away one day and they never spoke again. So the person she really loves is that other guy, but she just views Adrian as the next best thing. And they can still be soulmates. It's just that she doesn't really seem to like Adrian enough when he acts more like his real self as Cat Noir. She's in love with the idea of him, and I think we could have explored that a bit more instead of linking it to a past trauma, link it to a past love interest. But even if this wasn't done, I don't think obsessive behavior really needed a reason to be a good part of her character arc. Adrian is a celebrity. People get obsessed with celebrities all the time, despite not knowing what actually are like. They watch all their shows, buy all their merchandise, and let their love for said celebrity consume them to the point that they send death threats to the celebrity crush's significant other. This could have been framed in a way that shows that Marinette is a young girl who has a crush on a celebrity and is living the dream of any young girl with a celebrity crush. She gets to go to school with him, and he's pretty kind. They could have used this to teach kids about healthy fan and celebrity relationships and not have Marinette and Adrian date until after they reveal their identity, because then Marinette would know more of his real personality and would actually love the real Adrian and not the fake persona he puts on for the world. Okay, so this is something that has bothered me for a while. Clothing is one of the best ways to convey a character's personality, non-verbally. And having stylish but unique clothes is a staple of magical girl shows. I remember watching Totally Spies and loving their outfits, and Loki wishing they were mine, or Wings Club, and loving the way a bit about the characters communicated through what they wore. Miraculous is made in France, which is known for food and fashion. How hard could it have been to get one or two designers? She's been complimented for talent in design, for goodness sake, yet she's dressed in a super basic outfit, and they never even bothered to change it. To make things worse, Miraculous superhero suits are modeled after the user's desires. Why the heck would Marinette's outfit be so bland and boring? Maybe it's because of costs and animation. I still think they could have tried harder. So, just for fun, I've chosen some clothing pieces I think an aspiring fashion designer like Marinette would wear, taking into account her original clothing design. I don't know much about fashion, and this is just my opinion, but just remember that. So I think Marinette would experiment with her clothes a lot. I think she would embroider her pants and her tops and her jackets a lot and just take risks with her outfits, you know? I realize that a lot of stylish people do that. They're not scared to take risks to see what works and what doesn't. I like this one the most because I think it's the perfect balance of bright colors and a bit of strangeness. I thought the top was too pretty to be covered by a jacket, which is why this one doesn't have a jacket. And I thought a hat would be a good accessory to have. And I thought a beret makes sense because when I think of France, I think of berets. Don't hate on me, French people, if you're watching this. I've never been to France. Actually, I'm just going off of what I see in films, and I think of berets when I think of France. Thanks to the stuff I've watched before. I mean no harm. Please don't hate me. Yeah. Marinette is also a character that had so much potential, and I really think her setup in season 1 and season 2 would have made it so that Adrian could be cool, but she would still be loved for her creativity, her leadership skills, her low-key sassiness, her quirkiness. I really loved her as a kid, and I'm really sad about what they turned her into. Not pointing any fingers, but maybe let's not make characters based off of imaginary children. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I think that's probably what stopped her from being as great as she could have been. The writers were scared to take risks with her because she was someone's self-insert. Marinette could have been a great character, but without real growth, meaningful flaws, or consequences, she's just a missed opportunity, and that's a real tragedy. Hey guys, I've noticed that most of you haven't subscribed to my channel, so please do subscribe and turn on your notifications that you don't miss any new videos. Anyway, I'm trying a new format for my outros where I'll just make some kind of claim or say whatever comes to mind. So something that has always bugged me is the way she never chooses an adult if she knows that they get unlimited chances to use their special power. I mean, it's not like she doesn't have trustworthy options. There's Miss Bustier, her parents. Okay, that's not a lot of options, but it will give her more of an edge than having like 30 teenage Miraculous holders.